Griffin just called me and said he's trying to get on too, so he should be on in just a minute.
Okay.
And we are up on YouTube.
Okay. The October 19th, 2021 License Committee meeting is now called to order. Why don't we just take a moment of silence? Amen. Item 2. I just had a few questions with respect to the minutes for October 26th. They're fine, but there were a number of requests that was in that meeting, and I wasn't sure whether or not we were forwarded the items per the minutes. And you might have, and I might not have gotten them. So if we haven't, let's just sort of forward them, and we can sort of move on.
Yeah, I can't remember if we sent anything or not. Now I'll go back through my email, and if not, I'll get it over to you.
Okay, appreciate. Any more discussion on the minutes? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and properly seconded that we approve the minutes as submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Any old business? If not, we'll move directly to new business, and I'll turn it over to budget.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for the it's in response to the Standardization Act, Act 176 that we've been hearing about for so long now. We are at our day of reckoning, where we're getting close to the end here. So we the first item up is to extend our current ordinance. So the new Standardization Act, the year is going to run from May 1st through April 30th. So what this amendment does is extend the current year 4 months to get us to April 31st, or April 30th, I should say. That's all there is for that. I guess we can go on to the next one. That's the where we're repealing our current ordinance and replacing it. What we got was basically a draft from the municipal association that was things that we had to have in the ordinance. We were able to then, well, Sterling was able to then massage it, add some of our own kind of local flair to it that was allowed by law. But the big takeaways from these changes, though, for us are going to be the license year, of course. This changing from May to April, and then like the name implies, standardization. They're standardizing the rate classes. So,
Joshua, I'm just going to interrupt you. I think we're getting some feedback on somebody's line. So if everyone who's not speaking, if you could please stay on mute. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. So the municipal association sent us the new rate class schedule. It's all based off your NAICS codes. So we took those codes and updated our rate classes to then see what the revenue impacts would be, which turned out to be pretty much neutral. So there's going to be no need to change any rate classes or anything like that. And we're going to do this every other year, changing these classes, and we'll get that from the municipal association. There's also going to be a standardized appeals process, and then there's going to be a portal to pay through the state, which we kind of hope no one uses, because it's not really a live portal. It's more of a database. It's just giving people an option. But our CSS system that we have, our online system, is a little more robust, and we'll still be able to use that with this with the law. That's the gist of the major changes. Like I said, we were able to keep in our like late night entertainment stuff, our special rates for tech businesses, for example. All that's still there. But these are things that we have to do by state law, so we undertook it.
Yeah, Josh, you did send us a draft of the markup, right?
I believe it was in the pack. I think Jennifer sent it.
Okay, because and I know the markup was minor, but I've gone through the package and I haven't been able to identify it. It says under administration of the ordinance. I don't know whether or not that meant the administration of the ordinance section or that applied overall. Because when I
Sure.
went to that section, I didn't see the language change.
Sterling may be able to speak on that a little more. I think this is actually going to be put in Muni code. Is that right, Sterling?
So the way this will operate now is, as you know, your committee every year reviews a new and adopts a new business license ordinance. And we do this each year. We don't really have it anywhere online. What this is going to do is repeal a section of the code and replace it so that the body of the entire ordinance will now be in Muni code, which will be great because it will be a lot more convenient for people to find. We are not going to have to change or adopt it or re-adopt it each year. That will just be our standardized language that's in the code now. But what will change are the appendices. And so we will update those rate class schedules every other year, like Josh mentioned. I'm not sure if that answers your specific question because I'm not sure about the administration question.
Well, let me just answer and ask it differently. Then the changes you just described are contained in what we have to vote on?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
so the second,
I think Sterling, just in previous years, it showed a strike through of what was changed. So it was easier for the council members to see what the change in the ordinance were. But since this is a repeal and replace, this language is all the municipal associations, what their template is that they recommended, plus our changes onto it. So it's not tracking, you can't track the actual changes.
And that's what I'm asking because I kind of like to do that.
I think it was such a big change that's why when
the whole thing
Yeah,
with
some sections are out. So yeah, I don't think that we can do a strike through. We could give you bullet points, but that's about the best we can do with that.
okay, because I'm just used to the strikeout and the underline and that kind of.
right. I think the whole thing was just taken out and started over with what the municipal association gave us the template that we needed to use. So I think it's harder to see that where the exact changes are, but we took their template that they told us that we needed to use, and then Sterling worked with their attorneys to make the changes that Joshua outlined in terms of the late night business and some of the other changes that we have built in. Also, we're able to extend the penalty period. We pushed that back similar to how it was before, so that wasn't changed either. You know how we added it, the 30-day grace period a couple of years back. So that's still in here too.
Okay, I'm just saying I trust what you're telling me. I just like to be able to do comparisons, okay?
I do too.
Chairman,
It's
I
easier.
apologize, I fell off for just a second, but I do have, it's not exactly a red line, but it's a version that I sent to the Municipal Association that shows the changes that I added back in, saving them from the city's ordinance and adding them to the model municipal association ordinance. So if you'd like to see that, I can forward that to everybody on the committee. The portions highlighted are the portions that we're keeping.
Okay.
I can tell you that I've been through both ordinances and compared them line by line. I will say that probably 90% of the new model ordinance was almost exactly the same as our old ordinance. They did beef up some sections a little bit, but basically it had the same content. So I really can't point to anything that has drastically changed between our current ordinance and the new one. All that, what I was really focused on doing is saving and carrying over some local standards that we have that are a little bit additional to what the model ordinance had. So I can send that to everybody so you can see what's extra. And there's not a lot in there, but there are a few sections where we've added our own nuanced city specific type of things.
Okay, because the only reason I raise it is so that council can clearly see what they're voting on in terms of changes. But I do understand what you did. Mayor Tecklenburg?
And Mr. Chairman, Councilmember Griffin had his hand up as well earlier.
Okay,
I'll let let Mr. Mayor go first.
Well, thank you, Councilmember. I just wanted to ask, and really it's for everybody's benefit, I think, is to, Joshua, describe to us what happens to our business license revenue between January 1 and April 30th of next year.
Well, I mean, it's going to be dramatically lower than previous years for sure. We get the bulk of our revenue January and February from our businesses. That's obviously going to be pushed out. So the revenue that we're going to see at the beginning of the year is going to be contractors, going to be construction work projects that are ongoing, and any new businesses that may be straggling in. But the cash flow is definitely going to be low.
Well, the cash flow will get pushed out, but
Yep.
this change doesn't mean that companies won't be paying their business license fee on their revenue for that period. Correct?
They'll still pay on their previous year revenue. That's right. They'll just do it 4 months later, but
Right.
they'll pay on their previous year just like always.
Right.
It's
I just wanted
just
everyone to know that.
Yeah, it's just a timing issue, really. We're just, I think cash flow overall, and maybe Amy can address this, but we collect most of our property taxes in that beginning of the year. So the cash flow, I don't think will be hindered at all for the city because we'll just be collecting the business license like 4 months later.
Correct.
Like 4 months later.
Thank you.
We're not worried about that cash flow citywide. That typically comes toward the end of the year, not at the beginning. We should be okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Griffin?
That was sort of what I was going to ask too. I'm sure this first year coming up, we'll see it, but I'm sure as time passes, we'll be able to adjust. And I'll just make a motion that we approve both of these items.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and properly seconded.
Not that we really have a choice.
Right. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor of approving 4A and B, say aye.
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 The ayes have it. So moved. Is there anything else to come before this committee? If not, this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
Take
Thank
care.
you all.
Thanks, everyone.